Destiny goes, bro, if I need to go on the sex offender list, I'm taking another 20 streamers with me. Okay, lol. I mean, okay. If you have evidence of 20 other streamers who have done similar crimes to yourself, yes, release it. Why would you sit on that? How is that a defense of anything? Every day, something more horrifying comes out about this man, whether it be the people defending him and protecting him, or more women coming forward to say that they had porn filmed without their consent, and then that porn was distributed to another person, or he has effectively been lying to everyone about this. So, if you haven't been following the story, Destiny has been accused by 3 women of illegally sharing revenge porn of them. His ex-wife was the first person to do it a while ago. Subsequently, since that, Pixie has come forward, and I am happy to announce that Pixie has raised, I believe, the amount that she was trying to in her Give, Send, Go. If you have extra dollars to spend and you want to see someone effectively trying to sue Destiny in civil court for illegally sharing revenge porn of her against her consent, that's would be the place to go. And so that was the first part. Then another content creator named Cherry, who had, worked with Destiny in the past, came forward a couple days ago to say that she was unfortunately the victim as well of Destiny not only recording her without her knowledge or consent, and then sending the recordings of them having sex to a third party, and she has filed charges. Both of these women are doing it, with a lot of bravery, because they're obviously getting a lot of false accusations online, which I will get to in one quick second. But this was a post made by Destiny on his DGG chat stream. I don't care. People can describe things however they want, like we did in 2024. My only real area of interest is politics and stuff going forward. I've been out of the drama and interpersonal game for a long time. They can do all that on the streams. Bans people, bans more people. Someone accuses him of needing sex therapy. He says, lol, like I said, if I need, quote, sex therapy, then so do like 100 other streamers. I mean, if they are doing the shit that you're doing, yeah, that or criminal charges pressed. The reality is, ever since I've started my Venance, lisdexamphetamine, Venance, amongst others, is a stimulant medication that is used. Oh, it's an ADHD medication, but it's also used to treat severe binge eating or disorder. Common side effects include loss of appetite, anxiety, diarrhea, trouble sleeping, irritability, nausea. All right, so either way, since I started this medication, my desire for any of these types of interactions has fallen off a cliff. That's why all of this shit is pre-2024. So long ago. so long ago. Like, oh, did this happen such a long time ago? Of course they would like drudge this back up last year. Trias, the naturalized citizen one, is pretty sweatstony, but I haven't read what any legal scholars are saying about it. It's a little spooky that the Supreme Court is going to be evaluating so many constitutional matters. Ban more people, ban more people. Anyways, like I said before, I definitely made mistakes and fucked up. All I can do is promise to do better and change behavior going forward. I'll figure out and settle what needs to be settled in the background. If it's too much, then leave. If not, welcome to 2025. Ban another person. In fact, it's actually super epic and hilarious when vids of guys gets leaked, or if you tweet out random sexual details like 5 to 2 and epically own them publicly. No, that's not true. Men are never damaged by any of this stuff. Pixie and the people behind her just want money, so there's no point in going after the hacker. He's probably just some broke loser anyway, so they haven't even mentioned him. To the Destiny defenders, by the way, I want to add that whether or not the person who ended up hacking the person who leaked the material was hacked, that hasn't changed the fact that Destiny leaked it to a third party, and it's alleged to be a 19-year-old without the consent of all 3 of the victims in this case, and he has confirmed that in the text messages back and forth from Pixie. So that's not a defense. That's not a defense of anything. It's certainly not going to hold up in terms of, like, a criminal defense here. You have already committed a crime if you are illegally sharing revenge porn to a third party without the consent of the person for whom you made the porn with. In the other case, the other person didn't even know that you were filming them. You were secretly filming them, creating this material. Anyways, I dumped all of my Israel vids in August, so those can finally get uploaded again. Pepe, ban another person. There is a huge, quote, revenge porn angle for sure, but that's from the guy who dumped everything publicly. Anyone saying anything different is actually fucking Arsler. I've never... okay, so here's the last one. I've never done anything maliciously. Or, as any of the fucking insane, lav other people allegations say, that's Arsler, my only crime is being too much of a gooner in 2023. And earlier, 100% sure. Though, again, I can't say anything specifically because everyone wants to come at me in court now, I guess. This is, I guess, going to be the defense either by, the last remaining people who are still willing to listen to what he has to say and take it at face value. This is not you being too much of a gooner, people who want to fucking get extra tit skin costumes in Stellar Blade are too much of gooners. That's an example of that. These are crimes. These are incredibly serious crimes. In all three cases, there are three examples of women coming forward and saying revenge porn of them was distributed to a third party without their consent, and one of the three accusations saying that she was recorded without her knowledge or consent. Very disgusting stuff. So Pixie said today to all the people claiming that I, quote, only care about personal profit and that, quote, Destiny tried to make things right. Here are some of the DMs between Destiny and a close friend of his. Destiny knew about these DMs and never got back to me. And I want to add, no one should be in any way, shape, or form attacking the victims. What the fuck is wrong with the internet sometimes? I have had my own personal fights online with Sherry in the past, back when I was like, battling Lauren Southern, battling Destiny, battling a lot of people who were trying to fucking, promote white supremacist rhetoric like the two of them were doing at the time. And because Sherry was a fan of Destiny, she was obviously, quote tweeting and attacking me online. None of that fucking matters. Who gives a fuck? That's all just petty internet beef. There's no such thing as a perfect victim. People need to fucking get that into their heads. The most important part about all this is that there's very serious crimes committed against multiple women in this case, and that their stories, people should have not only the freedom to tell the world of the things that happened to them, but also not be attacked for it. And that's it. There's no much more to say about that shit. Here's some DMs between Destiny and a close friend of his. Destiny knew about these DMs, never got back to me. It is that I don't think if Steven faces consequences, he will change, and he will do this again. If he wants to, he can donate the money to some charity or organization. I just think that other than jail, or even more than jail from the studies I've read, money is the strongest reinforcer and losing it is the strongest punishment. I do not believe he will stop his actions unless he faces some level of punishment. This is someone who suffered, as a victim of Destiny's sex crimes here, allegedly, and as a result of that, forever will know that strangers on the internet will have access to pornographic material of her. And so the idea being that, like, immediately the same kind of scapegoating that you always hear, people going forward and being like, oh, she just did this for the money, look at the DMs. This was a narrative that was even being pushed by Destiny himself, who was posting messages of her having suicidal ideation, of her clearly being distressed, and him in those messages stating that he acknowledged that he had shared it with a third party, whether that third party was a 19-year-old that he was also trying to prey upon, because this seems to be a pattern of him being a predator, where he would intentionally try to form relationships with either fans of his, people within his inner circles, people who were trying to either work with him or were trying to, be orbiters or get boosted by him, whatever the case may be, rather than simply form either platonic relationships or enjoy their politics and want to help out their careers or something to that. He was intentionally forming relationships with them for the purposes of having sex with them. Some of these people have been receiving sexual material by him, and that material was being sent to third parties without the consent of the people with whom he filmed that material. And so in this case, if the narrative is going to be that Pixie's just doing this for money, here's direct evidence of Pixie saying, well, yeah, I'm not trying to extort him to get rich. I'm trying to do this to get him to stop doing this to other people. The money can go to charity if he wants. I'm not even sure about the specifics regarding money and or punishment. I believe rehabilitation, but part of rehabilitation is penance. The person understands what they did is wrong, takes corrective course of action and actions to help pay penance to the victims and do right by them. I just want to know if Steven agrees with this and is willing to figure out what this means for both of us in a manner that makes sense to both of us. I don't want to cause unnecessary harm or suffering to Steven. I want to know that he will never do this again, and I think this would be the most effective method to do it, or jail. But I don't want Steven to go through criminal court because, one, our justice system is horrible at getting people to change their behavior, and two, I feel like it would be overkill on my part, but I totally understand. So that's the proof on the behalf of Pixie. Cherry is also having to state this out loud. I will not be posting my own revenge porn online. I showed parts of it to my friend to show him what was sent to me and asked for help. He is now being harassed for supporting me and believing me. I submitted my report and my evidence to the police this morning. It will be filed in 3 to 5 days, and despite trying my best, there was no certain way to submit the report and keep my identity anonymous in filing. Being public is the only reason I was able to find out what happened to me, but I'm worried about harassment moving forward, and I'm doing my best to do the right thing and also protect myself. I mean, it's a really sad state of affairs that, you know, the women, the victims in this case, have to put out statements like that. Destiny goes, bro, if I need to go on the sex offender list, I'm taking another 20 streamers with me. Okay, lol. I mean, okay. If you have evidence of 20 other streamers who have done similar crimes to yourself, yes, release it. Why would you sit on that? How is that a defense of anything? Yeah, your terms are acceptable. I do not care if we are friends, enemies, or strangers. If we disagree politically, debated harshly, I do not care. If you've dismissed me, wrote me off as mentally ill in the past, or if I've made brutal criticism of your behavior, I do not care. These are not unforgivable crimes to me. I empathize with anyone who is insecure and concerned to throw stones in glass houses. Do not let this man scare you, or threaten you into thinking that you are the same as him. Do not let Destiny make you think your silence or support of him up to this point or any point is a scarlet, A on your name forever. I know what was done to me, and I know who did it. And I guess that would be a big warning to people who are still trying to just basically take this as memes. Like, this is so far beyond, like, if people are honestly going to be on the internet either attacking the victims or publicly stating things like, he's just too much of a gooner. Didn't you hear what he said? He said his only crime is being too much of a gooner, bro. Well, not under the state of Florida, apparently. Destiny was going to be in an event organized by this creator called Pisco that was apparently going to be collaborating with a couple politicians as part of the Democratic Party in the United States.
Certain leaks, accusations,
it's been canceled,
and other information that has come out and have been made about Stephen Bonnell, Destiny, a streamer who I've collaborated with a lot, including prominently recently on major sort of political content. You know, recently we were doing more mainstream content as well that some of you were able to see. Hopefully you learned a thing or two out of it. And there have been sort of additional accusations in recent days as well that I think you guys by now have some familiarity with in terms of the underlying facts. So I'm not going to bore you with a recitation of the facts. So first and foremost, I want to let you guys know that, like, the New York stuff is done. That content initiative, we're not doing that. For those that like that content or enjoyed it, you know, sorry to break it to you, but you know, there are some things that make that impossible. I and others have been organizing this New York content initiative, and it's, like I said, it's done. But there were a lot of moving pieces, a lot of vendors, a lot of things we had planned, a lot of politicians that we've spoken to. Part of being a responsible adult is exiting things gracefully. You know, my friendship with Stephen is well known. I generally, you know, liked him a lot. Still, you know, viewed him as a friend, and obviously it's tough, but what occurred and what I've seen is completely and totally unacceptable and horrible, the underlying conduct.
I mean, it's a good thing to basically recognize immediately how horrifying this is and not continue to be like, well, let's wait until more information is available. No, let's wait until Steven formulates his defense. Let's wait until Steven gets a chance to stream again. Although Dan, one of the, you know, I would say most frequent content collaborators with Destiny, one of his close friends, and one of the people who's been trying aggressively to get Hassan taken off the internet for the last little while, apparently has been hiding all replies that mention his sex offender co-host Destiny. So these are all hidden replies on his Twitter account. Hide. Dan Saltman shades Pisco for deciding to leave DGG and suggests that Destiny will recover, much like the PDF file streamer Dr. Disrespect. So this is in Destiny's own chat. Dan wrote, and he's talking about Pisco, the guy I just showed you, who canceled the New York event and responsibly said that I can't associate with Destiny anymore based on what I've both seen and, you know, the evidence that is already available for everyone. Pisco was all about that New York shit a few days ago. Pff, for now. Pieced. So Pisco, full on pieced, eh? DMAC, lol. I've been busy. So what's happened the last 12 hours? It's changed forever. Hey Dan, can you give your percentage chance right now that Destiny actually restores his reputation after this? He says, I mean, Dr. Disrespect is still alive and streaming. I mean, fucking horrifying thing to say rather than actually condemn any of this behavior, but yeah, that is factually correct. And if Destiny faces any jail time, you know, for the potential crimes, you know, the potential felonies that have been committed here, and it's first-time offender, he spends a year in jail, or maybe he does, you know, a year of house arrest or community service, or he spends a significant time in jail and decides to quit streaming, or does a little bit of, you know, a prison stint and then tries to turn the whole thing into content, calls it the prison arc, and then gets out. Yeah, sure. There's clearly a viable, like, you heard it here first. You might be surprised, but it may be that his politics become a little more radically, openly far-right. He might suddenly be on Rumble. He might suddenly be like, well, you know what? I made fun of Republicans in the past, but I gotta say, this Trump guy is looking pretty good. I'm gonna be kind of pro-Trump now. Who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen? But that has shown itself multiple times with people who commit sex crimes to be still a lucrative and viable pathway forward, because it seems like the right doesn't give a fuck about any of this kind of shit. It's not as if there is not, because Destiny's not a leftist. I know people were like, why is the left cannibalizing itself? It's like, Destiny hates the left, and he's been one of the most vocal pro-Israel pieces of shit on the internet over the course of the last year, consistently utilizing and weaponizing his community to go against anyone who suddenly disagrees with daddy or daddy's opinion when he happens to be pushing for and rooting for and doing apologia for a country committing genocide. Like that's been him for the past year. So yeah, it's been abhorrent and disgusting. And so in addition to that, if you have people who are suddenly like still following him or still deciding, well, we're going to stand by no matter what, even if he's suddenly going to be producing some, you know, different or less political kind of content or stuff like that, everyone should be taking this as a moment. Like, it's not as if anyone's like, if you were a Destiny fan in the past, suddenly you are, you know, above salvation, like nothing can happen. No, like, there are so many better content producers who do coverage. Go watch Sam Cedar. I'm not here trying to be like, I'm canvassing. No, I understand this. Y'all don't want a goofy ass person like myself. You don't want someone like Hassan because you hate him. You don't want like anyone like that. You want a debate lord? Go watch Sam Cedar. Sam Cedar's a debate lord who's not a sex criminal. So you can watch someone who's going to educate you, who knows a fuck ton of what he's talking about, who does, yes, destroy people in debates all the time, and also isn't a sex criminal. So there's a massive ass bonus, but also has his head on straight and seems to be pretty consistent in understanding the problems of dramatic wealth inequality and what they create in society, about not supporting genocidal regimes, stuff like that. It could be a very, very interesting direction that you could go in, but it honestly, it would, to anyone who's like, there's people who have formed a parasocial relationship with him who are not going to leave no matter what, who are basically, he can do no wrong. And you know why that's true is because how many other fucking big ass streamers have been caught doing horrifying shit and still have careers. Like on the left, Andrew Callahan. Like there wasn't a single, you know, leftist creator that I respect that didn't, once upon they learned that, call him out. Because yeah, there's sexual predators on the left. Absolutely there are. There's sexual predators in every fucking ideology because there's sexual predators fucking everywhere. So the difference being is that the right wing kind of just allows this to be amongst their midst, or they believe their conspiracies. Like Russell Brand can do the most fucked up shit in the world, and then all he has to say is that this is the deep state trying to silence him for telling the truth about Fauci. He's the only person who came up with the idea of calling out people who use vaccines. Sure, Russell. But if that's the course, then fine. People can go watch, you know, Russell Brand on Rumble. He didn't even get taken down or demonetized off YouTube permanently, I think, even though, like, you know, that guy's got a well-documented history of fucked up shit. This one, I have no, way of knowing whether it's true or not, but this is someone testifying that apparently even his work that everyone considers to be the most important part of his streaming, his canvassing, may have also been simply running cover for his predatory behavior.
There are 2 videos involving Pixie. There's one that's solo, and a threesome with another orbiter, which is straight raid. People are claiming, basically based on the evidence, that at least one of those videos occurred during a canvassing event. The link in this Reddit post right here, if you click it, it leads to a stream where you and Destiny are talking about the harassment claims, and it seems like Destiny didn't want to make overt rules about flirting with co-canvassers. And people are kind of speculating that the reason why this is happening is because he'd no longer be able to use canvassing events as vehicles to have sex with fans and orbiters. This, to me, is tying into this greater idea of like fucking fans is one thing, but like he's fucking fans and then unconsensually sending videos of fans to other fans, and it's at the canvassing events, which is part of his political thing. So it's all kind of wrapped up. So I guess I'm just like, once again, this like leads into like my whole thing about like taking it seriously, right? It's like, what is going on here? What's going on with Pixie? Like, it's not like you can just divorce like these two ideas. Like, this is the political commentary. This is what is going on here. Like, this is all tied up in his content, in his canvassing events.
Obviously there's no confirmation if that's actually true, and the reason I want to stress that is because like a lot of the things that have been accused and levied at Destiny so far are fucking horrifyingly serious crimes. But if this one turns out to be, if there's more people who are either going to come forward or more people are going to talk about this, and someone's eventually going to come forward saying that yes, it is in fact true, that even the things that he was doing on the surface that people were trying to defend, right, were basically just more venues for him to keep being a predator towards people who were either his fans or fans of his political project or any of that kind of shit. It's like, I get the cover that doing all of this behind the veil of like they're fighting the Republicans, because that's the defense I've seen from a lot of people, even people who are like, I know what he did was bad, but like Donald Trump's in power, so now it's like it's more important than ever to have someone like Destiny who's going to be able to use his massive platform to be able to like help us canvass for politicians and stuff like that. Like, Destiny was a debate lord on the internet for such a long time, and as a debate fetishist and someone who was just basically consistently going after right-wingers, he got a lot of victories and wins because so much of what the right and the worldview of the right, they base themselves in complete, demonstrably false lies. And it's very easy, if you're good at speaking rapidly and getting people to expose their own hypocrisy, to get them to say out loud or get them to realize out loud that they're actually completely wrong, and their viewpoints are, again, it's just like a house of cards, right? You have to keep on building lies upon building lies upon building lies to be able to justify a worldview that is effectively going to be not only completely not based in factual reality, but promote hatred like the right often does. And then he also realized that he wasn't having the same kind of efficacy when he was debating a lot of leftists or a lot of historians or scholars, because they happen to know what the fuck they're talking about. So it's like two completely different scenes to watch a Destiny debate like, early Lawrence Southern or Sargon of Akkad versus Destiny debating any number of academics on topics of which they were very, very well educated and well read. And in all the fast, rapid talking, debate tricks, all that kind of stuff, it doesn't work when you're up against someone who actually knows what the fuck they're talking about. But if you associate yourself with the political movement as well, if you stop just treating the whole thing like he did, like a video game, right? Like he's a professional, or he was a professional StarCraft 2 player. He evolves from being a StarCraft 2 player to being this fucking political debate lord on the internet. And then you evolve from one to the other. And then all of a sudden, you just love debating to debate. Like, that's just the thing, right? Like, I remember a long time ago, on the last one we ever had, I was trying to explain to him, why is it that a lot of your talking points in relation to Israel and Palestine were almost the polar opposite when you were debating Lawrence Southern? And then his justification to that is like, oh, well, when I'm debating someone like Lawrence Southern, who's on the far right, obviously I'm going to be using a lot of the talking points that would probably come from a more leftist perspective. But if I'm debating someone who's on the left when it comes to Israel, Palestine, I'm going to have to use talking points that come from either center to center right perspective. And it's like, so it's a game then, right? It's like, I just want to battle people and defeat them, and this is what the whole point of this is. We're fucking doing the Zerg rush of ideas and grounding our axioms in real time and all that kind of shit. Well, if you go from that to associating yourself with the political movement and you start branding yourself as a political movement and you start saying, well, we're more than simply just a bunch of debate perverts on the internet. We're actually trying to stop Republicans from coming into power by not only having me do high profile debates with a lot of big figures like Jordan Peterson, for example, but I'm also going on like Jubilee and I'm debating a whole bunch of high profile, like, right wingers at once and stuff like that. Simultaneously, I'm canvassing. I'm doing these canvassing things with a whole bunch of my like audience to try and knock on doors and get people elected and fundraise for politicians and stuff like that. Well, then the people who would be following you think that it's no longer just I'm watching my debate pervert daddy. I'm watching my debate pervert daddy who's trying to change the world. He's trying to make the world a better place so he can do no wrong. And yes, there's been a long history. It was 13 years ago was when the first accusations of Destiny actually, sharing, was it explicit content with another person that he didn't have the permission to do without someone's consent. There was, the videos that have now surfaced of him admitting that he was sexually attracted to a 15-year-old who had sent him a picture. There's the multiple accusations of his ex-wife coming forward saying that he had leaked revenge porn of her without her consent. And now there has been multiple women coming forward to saying that not only has revenge porn of them been sent to a third party without their consent, but that one of them was not aware that he secretly records people. And that does that without their consent as well. It's like it's been this long kind of history of him being a predator online and getting away with it in large part due to the mythos and the size of his community and the aggressiveness of his community. It's so dangerous to go after Destiny, or at least it was in the past before everyone's abandoned him because of how fucked up this all is now. But in the past, that entire Reddit that he had, that subreddit, it could be weaponized against you so powerfully. I know because it happened to me multiple times where all of a sudden you have all of these people from around the world, thousands of people mining for clips and moments of you. And where did you slip up? Where were you hypocritical? Where did you say something that contradicts the thing that you said another time? How many times have you actually, right? And then all of a sudden it gets flooded with all this shit because you're the enemy of the day. And that, cycles to someone else at another time. For some people, they can stomach it and take it for a while, even if it includes false accusations. He falsely accused me of fundraising for Hamas. And man, did I ever get a world of hate and hate mails and death threats from that shit, because so many people, and this was before, by the way, the events of October 7th, but this was just so many people, and I fundraised money for a verified Palestinian charity. That's what had happened. He falsely smeared me, said that I was fundraising for Hamas, and yeah, his aggressive network of a lot of people who would otherwise be in I'd assume right-wing communities, because it's using the same tactics, are doing all of this fucking horrifying shit. I can't imagine what it's like to be someone who's smaller, someone who's maybe part of a vulnerable community, someone who doesn't even have a significant following, to get that level of all of a sudden vitriol, anger, and hatred. Not to mention later on they were doing full-on campaigns where they would be like, let's do mass email campaigns, let's try to get this Kotaku journalist taken down for supporting Hassan or misreporting on it the way we wanted, let's try and get Hassan taken down, look, he's been doing anti-Semitism, here's the evidence, go forward, go do brigading, all that kind of shit. And yeah, Asmongold XQC will launder a lot of that shit or regurgitate it, or what you're seeing, like the whole saga that's going on right now with H3 and releasing an upcoming content nuke on Hassan. How much of that is going to be based on information that was curated on Destiny's subreddit? A subreddit now that has been completely changed because, it's now supposed to be politics and memes not related to Destiny, not related to Destiny-related drama. We're going to have to wait and see how this all plays out, kind of shit like that. But it's fucked up. So I guess now Deserto can't keep just basically trying to bury the story. This wasn't on the front page, but it was on it wasn't at the top of the front page. You had to scroll down basically past a handful of stories until you got to this one that is now saying, police report filed as Destiny accused of sharing intimate recording of woman. I think it's still using passive voice and still trying to downplay the severity of what happens. The true headline of the story would be, multiple women have accused Destiny of sharing illegal revenge porn of them. One of them said she was filmed without consent. That's what's happening here, right? To frame it like this, all of a sudden it's like, in quotations, as if that could not be true. Twitch streamer Cherry, who accused streamer Destiny of sharing private content of her without permission, says she filed a police report of the incident. On January 21st, two women accused Destiny, real name Stephen Bonnell II, of sharing pornographic content of them online without their consent. Content creator Pixie was the first to go public and said she would be taking legal action against Destiny. I will be suing him for violating U.S. Federal Code 15 U.S.C. 6851, civil action related to disclosure of intimate images for the publication of private facts in Florida. A second woman known online as Cherry revealed that she too discovered Destiny had shared an intimate audio recording taken of me without my consent. Destiny has denied the allegations from Pixie, claiming that the content was stolen from him and that he had no control over it being distributed. The leak happened without my knowledge, consent, or authorization. This, by the way, is also misreporting the leak of the content online. But he admitted in those DMs when they were going back and forth that he had shared it with a third party. And that's what Pixie said, that was done without her consent. Already that alone, it's like, okay, well then everyone can admit that's wrong and illegal and that you can't do. But then to be like, yeah, and then that other person, well, they were hacked. And then it's the hack that got leaked. And so I'm the victim of a hack here more than anything. I submitted my report of my evidence to the police this morning. It will be filed in 3 to 5 days. Despite my best, there's no certain way to submit the report and keep my identity anonymous in the filing. Being public is the only reason I was able to find out what happened to me. I'm worried about harassment moving forward. I'm doing my best to do the right thing and also protect myself. I will not post my own revenge. We already read that. In a post the day previously, Cherry stated her intention to file a report, as well as revealing Destiny had blocked her and banned me and people supporting me from his community. I've not done anything besides asking for an explanation, as I was assured this was something he didn't do to me. When I was given one privately, I spoke publicly. She accuses Destiny of recording her. Quote, while we had sex without my consent and no regard for me, also shared the recording to others. At the time of writing, Destiny has not responded publicly to Cherry's accusations. Yeah, that's about all there is right now. Ideally, hopefully this will be the end of anyone having to talk about Destiny up until, you know, maybe there will be a court date, a court trial. You know, I have no idea what the future holds. There's going to be both the civil lawsuit from Pixie, which she, I think, successfully has fundraised on her Give, Send, Go to be able to pay a lawyer, and the other one taking place